Hello and welcome to Kilroy Films. This is going to be a bit of a shonky video to put on YouTube because I'm in a really scruffy area here and I'm using my mobile phone, and the reason I'm using my mobile phone is my main three cameras are being used to set up. But what am I doing? I'm testing a live stream rig before an event tomorrow, which I highly recommend to anybody. If you're using, especially when you've got some new gear, I've got some new gear. It's been road tested once. I successfully live streamed a celebration of life a week ago. But I'm doing a different type of setup with it, slightly different audio and things like that. I don't know what internet I'm going to get until I get there, so there's different things to check. I'm also live streaming to a different platform, lounges.tv. We'll talk about that in another video. A partnership I'm doing with lounges.tv. Check that out, they're really cool. Which is a pay-per-view platform, but the stream I'm doing tomorrow is actually free. It's not going to be paid, but we're doing it as a test. Long story. But the point of this video is, if you're a live streamer, or even if you're just going to record multicam, I always set up everything in my living room here, very small space. I set it all up the day before, maybe a couple of days before if I get the chance. Because when I pack it away, well, first of all, I know that I've got everything I need for the setup I want to do on the day. Okay, I've just realised my hand might be over the mic, sorry. But secondly, when I pack it all away, I know where everything is. I can pack it away in a way that's easy for me to get back out and rig up the next day, because I'm still finding that I pack things away slightly differently, rig things slightly differently, depending on the job I'm doing. And with experience, you'll end up with different ways of rigging things. Unfortunately, we don't have much storage where I live, so I can't have different bags and different setups for different situations. So I have to kind of tweak my main bag, which I'll show you in a minute, my main trunk, and this rig. So I'll just give this bit of advice: set up everything, test everything, fiddle with everything, get spares for everything, spare cables, spare batteries, spare headphones, all those kind of things ready in case one of these things you're using fails, okay? And by doing that the day before, you're ready to rock. You pack it away, you put some spares in, you arrive at the venue, safe in the knowledge that you're good to go. So anyway, let's have a tour of how I'm setting this particular thing up. So you may have seen, I'm going to swap hands because I might be blocking the microphone. So you may have seen on some of my TikToks or Instagram posts my new little setup in the rack here. So for live streaming in particular, or just camera studio recording. Any live stream, by the way, any multi-camera, you're always going to have cables everywhere, so it looks a little bit messy, but actually setup time here is really quick with this new rack that I've put together. It's on wheels, it lifts in and out of the boot of my car, two handles, one each side. This monitor drawer slides out, and the monitor then folds flat and slides back in. The drawer underneath that holds all my switching gear and some recording gear. There's a 4U drawer at the bottom, which holds a load of stuff. There's a bit of space there. I've got a switcher just Velcroed so I can see that all my ports are working at the front. And then round the back, I say network switch, sorry, I meant to say there. Round the back, I've got PDU, so everything's plugged in, and it's on extension lead at the moment, but it's quite a long 3-meter cable. And all the network cables and everything are tidied away in the back, okay? So it's as neat as I can get it at the moment. There is, obviously I could put a patch panel across the bottom here and plug everything in, and it's all networked internally. That might be an investment in the future, but it's good enough for me at the moment. So the heart of things in terms of multi-camera inputs and switching is obviously the Seetec monitor, which gives me multi-view. Anyone who knows anything about the Atem switchers, especially the minis, obviously the minis I'm talking about, sorry. I've got the Mini Pro ISO. You have one HDMI out and one USB-C out. I'm, as you can see, using this USB-C out to record, because this will record ISO. It will record each of my 3 camera inputs, so I don't have to worry about hitting record actually in the cameras. I can just hit record on here, and it will record to this hard drive. It will also record the switch program, so whatever I do, whether I use macros to switch or whether I physically switch throughout the show, it will record that on there as well. And I use Blackmagic DaVinci Resolve, so it just goes straight into the editing software, and it's really simple then to edit your recorded program. So that's why I use this, but that means my USB-C is used. So really I want the program out then to go, to go to some kind of way of viewing the program itself. Now I use the Yolobox, and we'll come to that in a second. Let's just talk about the multi-view first and how easy it is. So my HDMI out is being used to go to another device, which could be also the LiveU Solo if I wanted to just stream directly from there, or it could be this device, or it could be going to a computer with a capture card and doing it that way. However, this is the way I do it, and I'll tell you why in a second. So the monitor is fantastic. It gives me that multi-view because the HDMI out, as I've just said, is being used to go to the Yolobox, and the USB-C out is being used to go to the hard drive. So how do I see a multi-view? Well, that's why I got this monitor. So you've got 4 HDMI inputs there, and it loops them back out, and this is all wired internally straight to the Atem. So whatever the monitor sees, the signal's actually coming in from the cameras first to the monitor, and then that's looping back out inside the box to the Atem. So these cables are all labeled anyway, but these cables never move, they stay inside the box. So literally pull it out, plug it in, plug my cameras into the back of the monitor, and I'm good to go, okay, apart from all the other bits and bobs like audio. But why do we use the Yolobox? Okay, so we use the Yolobox. You can see, this is from the celebration of life. I've got some pre-recorded video content, and I set up a picture-in-picture of one of those pre-recorded video contents as well. But these will all be deleted, and I can have pre-recorded content for the show I'm doing tomorrow. You can also add graphics with this. You can go full screen. There you go. You can go full screen, so I can be looking at my multi-view, and I can be switching, tactile switching, and you can see there that the cameras are switching, okay? But then the beauty of the Yolobox is it's basically a little computer. You can go into the audio screen, which I'm in now, so I can have audio coming from different sources in here. Obviously, I've only got HDMI 1 as a source, which is coming from the Atem Mini Pro as the program out into there. So I could use, I can't see it. That's at the top, that's why. I could use HDMI 1 as an audio source, which I will do on the day, but I was just testing something at the minute, and I can't remember why that's not on. Oh, sorry, yes, because I'm going into line in. So I've got the line in input as my audio source at the moment from the Zoom. Now, normally, I would actually go from that line out into a camera. So it depends on my setup on the day. I don't know how close the cameras are going to be to me. I might have them away from where I set this up, and then I can just go straight into the Yolobox. There may be a delay by doing that, which is why I usually prefer to go into camera, because then you sync up your audio and your video. But on the Yolobox, you can see down here, there is a delay slider. So I can test on the day. I can see there's a delay already actually from what I'm speaking. So I know I need to apply a delay. So you can apply millisecond delays with this slider. So that's another reason why I've set up early the day before. I can test out all of my audio delays as well. Now I'm going to be live streaming a music event. I will be taking a feed. I've got that, that's why it's plugged in here. Hopefully I'll be taking an XLR feed from the music board straight into here. With the Zoom H8, I can obviously master volume here, but I can apply minus 20 dB, which I should flick on now so I don't forget actually. See, this is a good reason to do this test as well. Apply minus 20 dB just here, but you can apply more stuff in the software as well, because the line out from the DJ board will probably be quite hot, so you want to reduce it a bit, and then you can tweak it here. You can get your unity gain and then tweak it on the fly, and then feed that into the Yolobox. So the actual music itself doesn't have to be synced, because mainly we're going to be looking at the audience. But if anyone does any speaking, because I'm hoping to get some interviews and things like that, then it needs to be synced, okay? So I will probably go to a camera and then use HDMI audio, turn it on here, and then that is what will feed into here, and then I'll just turn on HDMI 1. Oh, just turn something down. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. That's the main program. Turn on HDMI 1 audio in the Yolobox. So there's a couple of things to note. You've obviously got to get good audio in here, which is why I've got a set of headphones plugged into here, so I can get my audio nice and solid in here. And then I need to make sure I get it nice in here, whether it's coming in from a camera synced or whether it's coming in direct as it is now from the Zoom. I can make sure things are good, okay? Another reason to set up. So that's why I've got a second set of headphones that are connected to the Yolobox. When you listen to the audio in the Yolobox, there is a delay, okay? So, because the Yolobox is doing the processing, but what goes out onto the live stream will be fine. So I never monitor with the Yolobox if I'm speaking. I'll monitor if I'm speaking through what my main audio source is, because otherwise you get that weird delay where you get slurry when you speak, basically. So that's the audio element of it. Oh, sorry, while we stick on audio, the other thing I've got here, I've got a cheese plate, velcroed, heavy duty velcroed to the top of the case, because I'm not sure whether it's going to stay here. I want to test it a few times before I decide whether to bolt it there or not. I might just add another one somewhere else anyway. But that goes to a magic arm, which then goes to this actual dual flash mount holder. And here we have a wireless microphone receiver, the Rode, and I can see the transmitter battery needs charging. The transmitter, oh, where is it? I've lost it. Here it is, over here on the couch, is this microphone. And this is a really good high quality Rode mic that will cut out a lot of background noise. In fact, depending on how I set it, it will cut out all the background noise, and then you have to hold the mic. Let's go here so you can see what I'm doing. You can hold the mic very close to your mouth. So if I'm doing an interview with someone, and you should better see the levels going up while I'm talking into it right now. If I'm doing an interview with someone, one of the DJs comes off stage and I can just pass them this mic, I can monitor, I can even give them a set of headphones and they can monitor as well. And it will cut out all the background noise and we'll get nice quality audio into this. So this is new. I didn't use this obviously for the funeral, but that's going into here. Okay, and then for ambient audio, because taking a feed from a soundboard for a live music event means you've got that clean feed going in, but you don't get any of the audience, any people cheering, shouting, just having a good time. And you want that. Look, camera one. It's one of the things I was going to talk about with the R7 that I'm using, is even when you deactivate eco mode, it goes off sometimes. So I normally hit record on it and then it just stays on. Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? So without any ambient noise, with a clean feed, it can sound a bit weird, but you can actually use the XY mic capsules on the top here, and I'll probably turn those on and feed that into things as well. So if I scratch that now, you can see those are at the top. So that will take ambient audio from my position, but I will also have, as you can see, shotgun mics on these two cameras, but I'll have to switch to the camera audio via here by turning it on and off rather than mixing it in there. So it'll have to be good in camera. I'll probably set them on -20 decibels, and they're just for ambient audio, so it doesn't matter too much. But if I put them on -20, I can obviously tweak them a little bit volume wise with the hard buttons on the switcher. I like to do everything as simple as possible. I have got the Atem software on the laptop at the moment just to show that I can tweak things on the laptop and on top of the rig. But I prefer not to have to play around with that because I'm already doing my audio here, my hard camera switching here, and then my graphics, which we'll talk about in a second. I didn't really talk about it here, and that's my program. So they're the three things I want to be interacting with whilst live streaming. Okay, so cameras. I think, by the way, you might have noticed I get really hot, and the Yolobox has a USB-A input, and I've got a USB-A fan. Helps cool me down. It's amazing. It's obviously a bit noisy though. Actually, it's probably really noisy, especially on a camera phone. I'm so sorry. This might be the worst video I've ever uploaded, if I do upload it, in terms of audio, which is terrible. Oh my God, yeah, that was making a lot of noise, so apologies. We'll see, I'll play it back. We're coming up to 15 minutes already, and I haven't even spoken about the cameras. So, camera 3, in this case, I've set up on a handheld rig. So you've got the top handle, I've got the side handle, and I can just quick release it off here. So if I do get an assistant or someone from the event team that wants to walk around the crowd and interact with the crowd, even get some audio from the crowd, they can literally take this off the tripod and walk around with it. It's all being powered via V-mount battery, which I'll obviously charge after this test. Dummy battery in the camera and a dummy battery plate on the wireless transmitter, which is the other thing on top of here, which is the wireless receiver, HDMI out into the back of the monitor. So that's my wireless camera. They can pretty much go anywhere in the venue because it's all outside and we're about to get a signal from that camera. The other two are hardwired in, so you can see the cables trailing. I think I've got 3 meter HDMI cables, maybe 5, so they can be positioned up to 5 meters away from the box. This one is an R7 with a zoom lens. It's a crop sensor, so I can be set up quite far away from the DJ, for example, and zoom in really, really tight if I want to. And this is the one I'll usually put near me, so I can pan and tilt and zoom in and out as well as controlling everything over there at the same time. I've got some hefty MPF batteries powering just the camera, so I've got no problems with battery power for this camera, no problems with that one either. We're only going to be streaming for 3 hours, so this would go all day, to be honest, just powering a camera. But there we go. So that's that one. And then this one is being powered in the same way, dummy battery in the side of the camera off a USB power bank. Again, that will go all day. And that's sitting with a 50mm lens. I didn't mention that one. The mobile one has got a 35mm lens, so if someone wants to go in the crowd with it, they can. It's not going to be too bad. And then on top, I've also got the GoPro. So this is the camera I intend to, not GoPro, it's a DJI Osmo Action. But this is the camera I intend to put looking at the DJ, okay? And by having that there in portrait mode means I can get them some social media content as well. I might take it off and use it. I might use my phone as well, but we'll get them some social media content. Then finally, I'm rushing now because we're over 15 minutes. Finally, the Yolobox, go back to that. It's outputting via its HDMI out to the LiveU Solo. Don't know if we better pick it up on here. It's gone into sleep mode. Oh. And what I need to do, which I always forget before I start filming, is go into my settings and make sure we're doing program out. So now you can see it's just seeing the program, not all of the controls on the side of the Yolobox. So the LiveU Solo, why do I use that? And that's not set up properly yet. I'd Velcro these so they're sticking up. These are Huawei SIM card modems, LTE modems. I've got 2 steering SIMs in there, so they will jump to the strongest 4G signal they can get. They're set so they don't go on the same network. They'll stay on separate networks. Natively, they're EE and Vodafone, but they'll jump to whatever the strongest signal is. So that's 2 inputs into the LiveU Solo. You can see a network cable. The network cable is going into the back of the switch in there. And the switch, in turn, in this instance, is going to my home router out there. Okay, so we're getting a hardwired network signal into there. We might not be tomorrow. If we're not, at the moment, the Netgear Nighthawk could be a mobile hotspot, Wi-Fi into that. However, it also has Ethernet out. So if we haven't got the luxury of hardwired Ethernet going into the switch, we can do so with this, or we can connect this directly to there if we don't want to share it with the laptop and the Atem and the Yolobox. And there's no need to. If I'm programming out via the LiveU Solo, that's the only thing I want to worry about, getting a good internet connection. So it can have 4 bonded. So if we're using the Netgear Nighthawk hardwired in instead of the green cable, I would use this phone that I'm filming on as a mobile hotspot, and we'll have 4 internet connections that I bring with me. I'm not relying on the venue to have a good stable stream out from that. So that's why I use the LiveU Solo. It's on a little light stand. It's designed to go higher, obviously, to get the best signal. At an event where there are 1,000 people with mobile phones, plus all the event staff, so we could be talking 1,100 people, plus all the people in the area, thousands of people using the local mobile phone masts, which is why I want something that's using 3 SIM cards minimum. The one in the Netgear Nighthawk, those 2, and possibly my phone as well. Because the busier the traffic gets, the less bandwidth you're going to be given from that cell tower, those, well, in this case, 4 cell towers. However, by having it on a light stand, gets the signal up a bit higher above the crowd, can help a little bit. The other thing is I have out there in the hallway, just for show, a 3-meter boom stand or heavy duty stand with an omnidirectional 4G antenna, which will plug directly into the Netgear Nighthawk. So I'm covered to get nice and high and give myself the best possible chance of getting a good signal, essentially. So that's it. We're up to 20 minutes almost, so I'm going to call it quits there. Yeah, I'm going to call it quits there because this is a long old video and it's not going to be the best quality video, but I thought it might be useful to people. Set everything up, test it before you actually are going live on the day. Pack it away in a way that makes sense to you, and then when you get to the venue, you know exactly what you're doing. Cheers.